And everybody was screaming, and I saw one gentleman just take the back of the door of the school bus.
I wasn't even thinking. I was just, like, you know, like a father of 3 kids, I was thinking about kids. That's it. So I jump in.
The crash, the shock, and the quick thinking witnesses. Strangers rush to help when a school bus flips with students still inside. It happened near Richmond and Berkeley when the bus and an SUV collided. The students were left dangling by their seatbelts. Ali Chiasson is live back at the scene, and Ali, the driver of that SUV has now been charged.
Yes, we just learned a couple of hours ago that Toronto police has charged a 21-year-old woman from Toronto with careless driving for causing this accident, sending 5 special needs children to hospital. It was a chaotic scene. Within 30 seconds, people ran to help. One man jumps on top to check on the driver. Cyclists, pedestrians, construction workers surround the bus.
I was thinking about kids. That's it. So I jump in, and the kids, I think one kid was on this side. He was actually on the ground. They were just hanging. So I had to lift them up to the ceiling to unhook the belts and take them out.
Edward Ledichever, construction worker, father of 3 kids, plucked the children out of their seats.
Try to move as quick as possible because the blood circulation, everything is tied up, so you have to release it as quick as possible.
One by one, a neighbor grabs the hand of a hysterical child. You don't see it in the video, but off camera, they were given water and juice. As the ambulance shows up, the bus driver crawls through the emergency exit at the top. Witnesses say it was chaos.
If the kids didn't have seatbelts on, I think that they probably would have ended up having some significant injuries.
The children with special needs struggled to describe the extent of their injuries to emergency crews. 2 shaken up after being T-boned.
The red light was already on, and no brakes, no nothing. She was going on a full speed, and I would say a high speed too, because it was a good impact and quick flip.
If the seatbelts were their lifesavers, a fast-moving construction worker was their hero. But don't tell that to Ledichever.
I don't need it. Honestly, I'm sure you would do the same thing, 100%. You, anyone, right? So there shouldn't be no thanks for this, as long as the kids are okay.
Yeah, I love that. And Ali, Edward jumped into action, but he wasn't the only one, and now paramedics want to honor some of these heroes.
Yes, they do. And if Edward's watching out there, EMS, they want to reach out to you personally and thank you for your efforts. We also spoke with, her name is Jane Roos. She opened up her gallery doors. She also lives in the art gallery that she runs here on Berkeley Street here. And she opened up her doors. She welcomed in all of these children and the paramedics to check them out. It was really a makeshift triage center. Just have a look at how that went.
Ran outside and the school bus was turned over and there was a man yelling, "There's kids inside, there's kids inside."
While construction worker Edward Ledichever unbuckled the kids from their seats as they dangled, Jane Roos walked them to her art gallery, which turned into a makeshift triage center.
There was one little boy who was really quiet. He wasn't saying very much, and one of the paramedics blew up one of those, gloves that you wear, and it was like a balloon with, so he was happy. A little girl with Down syndrome, she wasn't doing so well, and then a neighbor came over and started playing cards with her, and the bus driver was in the back of my gallery getting treated to see if she was okay for any injuries. So there was about 6 paramedics in here, and then there was adults and there's the kids, and it was, I think it was just a lot of chaos for them.
It was a struggle to make the gallery safe for so many anxious children.
One of the girls picked this up and she whipped it across the gallery. I'm like, no! And the paint went flying, and then the candles, I took them off.
I'm sure the parents can't wait to shake your hand.
Oh, I mean, I don't expect them to shake my hand. I think anybody would have done that. I think anybody would have opened their doors to them. Poor kids, like that was just an awful morning for them.
Oh, wow. On our way out, an EMS worker stopped her. He wanted to tell Jane that they nominated her for an award for her efforts today.
Oh, no.
Yep, it's already being done. So.
Oh.
Her mind was on the children.
And are they all okay?
They're all okay.
Nothing. Was her hand okay? Because she kept... Is that just her?
I think
or
that might have just
been her?
Yeah. So everybody's doing fine. I just got back from sick kids. Spoke to the parents. All the kids are doing great.
Okay, good. And the school bus driver?
Everybody's mind is with the children here, and certainly very happy to hear that everyone is okay. But witnesses also, I mean, just people in the neighborhood have now had this time to sort of come down after seeing that accident happen, and they want some action here along this stretch of Richmond at Berkeley. They say that people treat this stretch of Richmond Street like a raceway. They want something to be done. Coming up a little later in the show, we'll show you just how dangerous it can get here. Dwight.
All right, we'll check back with you, Ali. A big thank you to all those folks who jumped into action to help today. Thank you, Ali.
They were just hanging. So I had to lift them up to the ceiling to unhook the belts and take them out.
Some quick thinking helped keep 5 kids safe today after their school bus collided with an SUV and flipped on its side this morning. The students and the bus driver were taken to hospital, but there were no serious injuries. The driver of the SUV, a 21-year-old woman from Toronto, is now charged with careless driving. It happened near Richmond and Berkeley, and witnesses had a thing or two to say about the safety of that stretch of Richmond Street. Ali Shahsan is live back at the scene tonight. And Ali, they say this is a problem area with careless driving.
Yes, Dwight, even just standing here, we've had several people come up to us complaining about the speeding that happens here. So I'm at Berkeley Street and Richmond Street East, and in this area, neighbors are saying that, you know, they were, of course, shocked to hear about this morning's accident, but not exactly surprised. Have a listen.
Berkeley is a two-way street. Most drivers don't know that. They don't, and even if they do know that, they don't seem to care. They'll often make a left on the red onto Richmond Street. Secondly, people coming off the Don Valley onto Richmond are going far too fast. So when you get a combination of people driving crazy up and down Berkeley and also people driving crazy along Richmond, you're going to get an accident. This isn't the first time. It won't be the last time.
So I want to show you Berkeley Street here. Have a look at these arrows. They're white arrows that were painted. This is how neighbors in the area are trying to make it clear to people that it's not a one-way street. Oftentimes, there are cars driving in the same direction in both lanes. Guess who painted those chevrons? Jane Roos from that gallery, the woman who took in the students at the art gallery. And here is where police are saying the issue might really be. On Richmond Street East, if that truck can just get out of the way, you can just take a look there. We are looking at the off-ramp from the DVP. Police say that cars are gaining speed going down that incline, and they are not adjusting their speed to the stark change of 40 kilometers an hour here. And in order to, you know, maintain this area and keep it safe, although police aren't saying it is a problem area on their radar, they certainly rely on that red light camera there too. And as we've seen in the earlier story today, certainly a lot of help from neighbors, and they're very clear and crisp security cameras. And these neighbors are certainly ready to help the police with anything that they see. They've seen a lot of stuff happen at this intersection, and they'd like some change.
Yeah, it goes from 90 to 40 pretty quickly there, and drivers really need to be aware of that. Thank you, Ali.